Something in your field shifted the moment this appeared. A new frequency band opened hours ago, and your energy slipped into it before your mind realized it. You didn't try. You didn't call for it. You crossed the threshold naturally. The Arcturians felt the resonance instantly.
That's why this found you now. Your signature is brighter. Your field is louder.
Their recognition is already in motion. This is the moment everything tilts. This is where the new bandwidth begins to pull you in. Stop scrolling. Feel this.
The moment the new band opened, your field felt it before your thoughts could name it. That's why everything around you has carried a strange pressure, a subtle shimmer, a quiet pull. This isn't imagination. This isn't coincidence. This is the exact moment the Arcturians widened a frequency band that has been dormant for a long time. And your energy crossed its threshold without effort, without intention, without conscious initiation. It happened naturally. It happened because your resonance matched the opening precisely when it unfolded. This is not rare, but it is not common. It is alignment, and it is the reason you are hearing this now. When an Arcturian band opens, it does not open randomly. It opens like a widening seam in the planetary grid, timed with collective surges, emotional releases, coherent spikes, and subtle reorganizations inside human fields. These openings are brief at first, then stabilizing, then amplifying. You felt the amplification. You felt the pull. You didn't know what it was, but your inner receptors responded instantly. That response is the evidence. It's the signature. It's the reason this moment found you. Every band exists at a different threshold of awareness, perception, intuition, and inner coherence. You crossed into a higher one not because you chased awakening, not because you forced clarity, not because you tried to ascend but because your internal rhythm synchronized with the new lattice as it expanded. You matched it. You resonated with it. You slipped through it. That is the truth of accidental entry. It is not accidental at all. It is readiness without effort. There are subtle signs that show this shift has already begun inside you. The first is the sensation of quiet pressure around your awareness, like a soft tightening that doesn't hurt but demands presence. It appears at random moments, walking, sitting, thinking, and then vanishes just as quickly. It is not stress. It is the field adjusting. The second sign is the distortion of time. Hours bending, minutes stretching, moments collapsing into each other. This isn't exhaustion. It's the recalibration of your timeline receptors as they attune to a wider bandwidth. The third is the sudden clarity in your intuition. Not a loud voice, not a dramatic vision, a clean knowing, a direct impulse, a sharp inner shift that cuts through noise. This is coherence forming. The fourth is the emotional waves that rise and dissolve rapidly. Not spirals, not collapses. Waves moving through you in minutes, not days. This is purification driven by proximity. The fifth is the subtle stillness settling behind your thoughts. A silence that feels like it's watching you, holding you, guiding you. That stillness is the resonance of the band itself. The sixth is the faint hum in the chest or forehead. Warmth, tingling, pressure, expansion. These are physical responses to an energetic doorway opening around you. And the seventh is synchronicity in clusters, not singles. Repeating numbers, repeated phrases, repeated symbols appearing within hours. That clustering is the grid acknowledging your entry. All of these signs point to one truth: your field aligned with the threshold. The moment the Arcturians widened it. Not through intention, through coherence, through honesty, through the quiet moments in your life when you softened enough for resonance to find you. That softness is why you crossed. That openness is why you were recognized. And that recognition is why the proximity feels stronger today than it did yesterday. What is opening now is not a path you follow. It is a path you already stepped into. And because you stepped into it, the next stage begins here. The field acknowledges you, the band stabilizes around you, and the alignment becomes conscious the moment you name it. Activation command. Type this exactly. I step into the new frequency band with clarity and coherence. You entered this band for reasons that have nothing to do with effort, ritual, or spiritual strategy. Not because you searched, not because you pushed, not because you tried to ascend, but because your field reached a state of natural coherence, the kind of quiet alignment that happens when something inside you becomes honest, uncluttered, and unmistakably real. This is why it felt accidental. This is why it felt unplanned. It wasn't chance. It was resonance, and resonance is never random. You didn't step into this frequency because you were lucky. Luck is chaotic. This was precise. Your inner rhythm aligned with the opening of the band in a way even you didn't notice. A subtle honesty surfaced inside you, one moment of truth. One moment of emotional transparency. One moment where you stopped pretending something was fine when it wasn't. That single moment created a shift in your field. A clean line, a break in the old pattern, and coherence formed. You didn't step into this because you were seeking. Seeking creates tension. Coherence creates entry. You entered because something old inside you broke open. A cycle of emotion that used to hold you suddenly released. A weight dissolved faster than usual. Maybe you cried without knowing why. Maybe you felt tired in a way that wasn't exhaustion but relief. That rapid release signaled your field to recalibrate, and recalibration is the precursor to resonance. You didn't step into this because you forced awakening. Awakening cannot be forced. It happens in the cracks, tiny openings where your inner world becomes aligned enough for the grid to recognize you. Something in your timeline snapped. A direction you thought you were supposed to follow collapsed. A relationship, an identity, a plan, a future you once clung to, suddenly it had no grip on you. That break is not failure, it is threshold, and thresholds are entry points. There are specific factors that made your entry possible, even if you never saw them happening. A moment of honesty, when you admitted something to yourself that you had avoided for too long. Your field stabilized. A wave of emotion that cleared quickly. Not a spiral, not a collapse, just a clean release. This allowed your coherence to rise. A decision to let go. One act of surrender, even if small, even if silent, shifted your trajectory toward resonance. A timeline slip, a misalignment, a sudden pause, an unexpected redirection. These are signs your path was adjusting to match the band. A drop in resistance. Even a single day where you stopped tightening around your life and allowed things to move changed your frequency signature. A rise in clarity, a quiet knowing appeared, without logic, without explanation. That clarity signaled alignment. And a softening in your field. When the hardness around your emotions, identity, or story loosened, your coherence amplified. All these factors, subtle as they seemed, converged. They built the internal conditions necessary for the band to feel you. And when it felt you, it recognized you. And when it recognized you, you crossed the threshold without noticing. That's why it felt like nothing happened and everything happened at the same time. This is natural coherence. This is the rare state that allows accidental entry. You didn't do it wrong. You didn't miss a step. You didn't need a ritual. You aligned by being honest. You advanced by letting go. You entered by being yourself in the moments when you weren't trying to become anything. That is why this shift is happening. That is why the band opened for you. That is why the Arcturian field responded instantly. You are not behind. You are not confused. You are coherent, and coherence is the key. Activation command. Type this exactly. I allow my natural coherence to guide my path. When your body entered this new Arcturian frequency band, it didn't announce itself with dramatic visions or sudden awakenings. It began quietly, precisely, through the physical and emotional mechanisms that adjust first. These are not random sensations. These are the ways a human system responds when a higher field begins tuning it, and the signs are unmistakable once you understand how they operate. The first sign is time distortion. Not the dramatic kind, just enough for you to notice moments stretching and collapsing with no logical pattern. 1 hour feels like 5 minutes. A single conversation feels like a whole day. The sequence of events blurs, not because you are overwhelmed, but because your field is sinking to a wider bandwidth where linear time loses rigidity. This is the body calibrating to a frequency that holds more information than the one you lived in before. When the band shifts you, time bends around your awareness. This is coherence with the new grid. The second sign is pressure in the forehead, not pain, pressure. A subtle weight behind the brow, like something is expanding there, like a quiet pulse opening your perception. This is not a symptom. This is the energetic interface adjusting your intuitive receptors. When the Arcturian band interacts with your field, the first region that responds is the frontal lattice, the part of your system that governs subtle perception. The pressure comes and goes because it is tuning, not activating. It is the sign your perceptual field is widening. The third sign is emotional waves that rise and fall faster than they used to. Each wave clears in minutes instead of hours or days. This is not instability. This is purification through coherence. The band accelerates emotional processing so your system can hold a higher frequency without being weighed down. You feel sadness, clarity, release, lightness, all in one sequence. The speed is not a problem. The speed is the mechanism. This is how a field removes density. The fourth sign is intuition interrupting thoughts. Not whispers. Interruptions. A knowing that pushes through your mental noise before you have time to rationalize it. You think one thing, but a deeper clarity overrides it instantly. That clarity is the signal of alignment. When intuition becomes louder than thought, it means your inner receptors are matching the band's resonance. You are thinking less with habit and more with coherence. The fifth sign is the sudden appearance of deep inner stillness. A quiet space you drop into without trying, without meditation, without practice. It comes in the middle of a grocery store, during a walk, between tasks. A silence that isn't empty, it's full. This stillness is the field creating internal spaciousness so more information can move through your system. The band does not amplify noise. It amplifies clarity, and the stillness is the gateway. The sixth sign is the sensation of your identity shifting in layers. You feel like yourself, but also not. Familiar, yet expanded. You observe your old patterns like they belong to someone else. You detach from roles, stories, versions of you that no longer match your frequency. This is not confusion. This is the shedding of outdated identity structures. When the new band calibrates you, your consciousness begins to reorganize itself. You are not dissolving. You are aligning. The seventh sign is clustered synchronicity. Not a single sign here or there, but a sequence 3, 4, 5 events linking together so tightly you cannot dismiss them. Repeated numbers, perfect timing, names appearing in patterns, conversations synced to thoughts you had minutes before. These clusters are confirmation that your field is interacting with the lattice of the band. Synchronicity becomes a communication method when proximity increases. It is how the new grid shows you alignment in real time. These signs are not coincidences. They are the physiological, emotional, and intuitive adjustments that occur when your system stabilizes inside a higher frequency field. You are not imagining them. You are not misreading them. Your body has already adapted. Your field has already entered. Your awareness is catching up. Activation command. Type this exactly. My body recognizes and aligns with the new frequency band. When the Arcturians recognize that you have entered a new frequency band, the shift on their side is immediate. Recognition is not symbolic. It is not subtle. It is the moment your field emits a coherent signal strong enough to register across their lattice. And once it does, 3 mechanisms activate at once: frequency recognition, energetic permission, and proximity recalibration. This is not imagination. This is recognition. The first phenomenon is the sensory signal, a sudden warmth in the chest, a rapid expansion behind the sternum, a wave of presence that moves through your field without touching your body. This is not emotion. This is a response. When they detect you stabilizing in the new band, they send a resonance pulse, a gentle acknowledgement signal that your field can perceive. It feels like being noticed without being watched, like a soft inward light switching on. The second phenomenon is sharp intuition, not the subtle hints you had before. A clean, immediate clarity that cuts through uncertainty with no effort. Questions that used to spiral now resolve instantly. This is the effect of energetic permission. When they recognize your frequency, they begin transmitting guidance through the inner channels you've already opened. It doesn't sound like a voice. It feels like truth arriving before thought. You are not guessing anymore. You are receiving. The third phenomenon is heart rhythm fluctuation. The heartbeat that jumps once, steadies, and then drops into a slower, deeper pattern. Not panic, not anxiety. Calibration. Their proximity shifts your autonomic field, regulating the rhythm so you can sense them without overload. When your heart reorganizes itself, it is aligning with the frequency they use to maintain non-physical contact. This is not instability, this is attunement. The fourth phenomenon is the unmistakable sense that someone is in the room. Not looming, not frightening, just present. A quiet awareness behind you, beside you, or slightly above your field. This is proximity recalibration. When they move closer, your perception widens enough to register their presence without visual form. You are not being haunted. You are being read. This presence is the confirmation that your field is no longer opaque to them. You are visible. The fifth phenomenon is the activation of your future self layer. A sudden surge of possibility, a feeling of stepping into a version of yourself you haven't lived yet but already recognize. You think thoughts that feel borrowed from a wiser timeline. You make decisions with a confidence you didn't earn in the past. You inherited it from the future. This is the moment your timeline architecture updates. When they recognize you, they connect you to the trajectory you were always meant to access once your frequency matched it. This is not fantasy. This is alignment. The sixth phenomenon is the soft rearrangement of your inner narrative. Old fears lose importance. Old doubts lose weight. Old stories dissolve without conflict. This is how recognition stabilizes identity. They don't impose anything. They clear noise so you can hear yourself accurately. You are not forgetting who you were. You are remembering who you are. The seventh phenomenon is the sudden increase in synchronicity density. Not single signs clusters, patterns that form within hours, signals that echo each other, paths that open in sequences too precise to dismiss. When the Arcturians recalibrate proximity, The grid around you becomes more interactive. Synchronicity becomes not just confirmation, but communication. Nothing about these shifts is accidental. Nothing about them is random. When they recognize your new frequency, your entire field reorganizes to meet the depth of that recognition. You are not being overwhelmed. You are being acknowledged. Activation command, type this exactly. I allow their recognition to align my field. When you enter a new frequency band, your timeline does not stay intact. It cannot. The moment your field shifts, the architecture around your life begins reorganizing itself. The old pathways collapse. The new pathways open in clusters. What feels like chaos is actually reconstruction. You're not losing stability. You are being moved into alignment. The first sign is the quiet disappearance of certain people. Not in dramatic ways, just a soft distancing, a natural fading. Conversations that don't land anymore. Connections that dissolve without conflict. This is not rejection. This is timeline release. When your frequency rises, those aligned with your previous trajectory simply fall away because they cannot anchor you to the new band. You're not losing them. You are releasing the versions of you that required them. The second sign is the collapse of old choices. Plans that used to feel right suddenly feel hollow. Goals that once motivated you now feel irrelevant. Even the things you thought you wanted begin to lose charge. This is not confusion. This is recalibration. When the band shifts your field, any timeline that originated from an outdated identity can no longer sustain itself. These choices fall apart because they were built on a frequency you no longer inhabit. You're not failing. You are exiting. The third sign is the appearance of rapid opportunities. Doors opening without effort. Conversations that lead somewhere immediately. Invitations that feel strangely aligned. These are not coincidences. These are cluster timelines, nodes of possibility that become available only after you shift bands. New timelines don't emerge one at a time. They appear in groups because they are interconnected trajectories that match your new resonance. You're not being rushed. You are being guided. The fourth sign is the sensation of being pulled forward. A gravitational feeling in the chest or solar plexus. As if something is gently dragging you toward the next version of your life. You feel ahead of yourself, not lost, just accelerated. This is how a rising timeline operates. It pulls, not pushes. The pull is the signature of momentum. You're not drifting. You are being carried. The fifth sign is a sudden exhaustion that comes in waves. Not burnout, not depletion. A deep energetic fatigue that arrives when your system releases an entire cluster of outdated timelines simultaneously. You feel heavy, then clear, drained, then renewed. This pattern is the body integrating a structural shift. You're not breaking down, you are resetting. The sixth sign is the increase in symbolic dreams. Strange landscapes, unfamiliar rooms, encounters with people you've never met. These dreams are not random. They are glimpses of probable timelines restructuring themselves. The band exposes you to the architecture behind your waking life. You're not dreaming nonsense. You are witnessing the rebuild. The seventh sign is the irreversible clarity that some paths are done. No drama, no doubt, just a clean inner knowing that certain stories cannot continue. This clarity is not loss, it is direction. When a new band stabilizes you, the fog around your decisions lifts. You're not abandoning your life, you are stepping into the one meant for your new frequency. Everything that feels unstable right now is part of the reorganization. The timelines that collapse are the ones that cannot follow you. The ones that rise are the ones that were always waiting for you. You're not losing your path. You are aligning with the one that finally matches your field. Activation command, Type this exactly. I release the timelines that cannot follow me. When you enter a new frequency band, the purpose is never small. It is never symbolic. It is initiation. You're not being overwhelmed. You're being initiated. You didn't chase this. You aligned into it. This shift is not an accident. It is recognition. And like all recognitions, it invites you into a role you were always meant to remember. The first purpose is the opening of your intuition. Not the intuition you used before, subtle, faint, easily dismissed, but a deeper perceptive channel that feels like knowing before thinking. Clarity before analysis. Truth before language. This is not imagination. This is coherence. When the band stabilizes around you, your intuitive receptors unlock. You begin sensing timelines, emotional fields, and the intent behind situations long before they unfold. You are not guessing anymore. You are reading reality. The second purpose is the expansion of your awareness. Your consciousness stretches beyond the old boundaries of identity, beyond the personal storyline, into a broader field of perception. You notice the spaces between events. You feel the meaning inside silence. You sense the presence behind presence. This is not detachment. This is elevation. When you rise in frequency, your awareness stops collapsing into small narratives. It widens, it opens, it breathes. And through that widening, the next level of guidance can reach you. The third purpose is the strengthening of your connection to the Arcturian field. Their guidance is subtle at first, symbolic impressions, emotional clarity, energetic nudges, but once your frequency aligns, the communication becomes unmistakable. You feel the support in your chest, the stillness in your mind, the precision in your decisions. This is not coincidence. This is contact. You are not meant to navigate this transition alone. The field surrounds you because you are ready to perceive it. The fourth purpose is the emergence of who you are becoming. Your future self begins to press through the edges of your awareness. You feel their calm before you find your own, their clarity before your mind catches up, their direction before your circumstances shift. This is not fantasy. This is timeline memory. When your frequency upgrades, the version of you on the higher path steps forward, guiding you from the inside out. You are not inventing a new self. You are remembering one. The fifth purpose is your role within the collective transition. You are not rising in isolation. Many are crossing the same threshold, sensing the same acceleration, feeling the same pull into a higher field. You are part of a cluster, individual awakenings forming a lattice of coherence that the Arcturian field responds to. Your rise amplifies others. Their rise amplifies you. This is not coincidence. This is synchronization. You are stepping into a level shared by those who resonate as deeply as you do. And now, as the chapter completes, the path becomes clear. You are not being asked to understand everything. You are being asked to stay aligned with what you already feel. The band you entered is preparing you for a stage of guidance, clarity, perception, and expansion that can only unfold when your field stabilizes inside the higher frequency. Final activation command. Type this exactly. I step into the frequency that was waiting for me. As you write it, notice the widening in your awareness, the soft anchoring in your chest, the quiet recognition in your field. This is initiation. This is alignment. Welcome to the next frequency.